The $500 market challenge is incredibly simple. We're just going to be using my tools and one day of work in the shop to generate $500 worth of profit on just one market day here locally in Georgia. I live in Cumming, Georgia, which is a real place with real people, and we love Cumming, Georgia. So the funny thing is that means something else as well in life. If you don't know what that is, don't look it up, it doesn't matter. But as a younger generation has moved here into Cumming, Georgia, it's just kind of a funny little thing. I've been selling these ornaments here locally in town, and they've been selling pretty well. And I don't think it's going to be too difficult to generate $500 worth of sales, but that doesn't mean $500 worth of profit.
The really nice part is I'm also doing this thing where I'm going to be customizing ornaments at the market. We'll get into that in a little bit. So with all of these ornaments, it's really nice knowing that as I'm making them, I can go ahead, temperature alarm, 1 second. EasyCAD 3 is absolute trash. As I was saying, we're laser engraving each one of these. They're just the front side, not front and back, and it's taking around 40 seconds for each one of these to be done. So the CNC router is pretty easy for me to gauge cost on because I normally just charge $1 a minute. But the fiber laser is such a weird niche tool, and it's a little bit more difficult for me to go ahead and figure out a very static number like that. Because if I were to charge $1 a minute on this, it's just a whole different process. You can achieve your results a lot faster with a fiber laser than you can with a CNC router, and they both do different things. So I'm still kind of working out what that looks like. Because if the retail price on these is $20 a piece at the market, I'll also be saying 3 for 50 bucks because I'm hoping that my designs are going to be something that people think is funny and then they're wanting to buy more of. The reason I say funny is because I live in a city called Cumming, Georgia. Cumming, no S, just Cumming, Georgia. So the first design is Cumming since 1834, and then the next one is going to be Cumming isn't the same without you. I think they're pretty funny, and like I said, they've been selling in a store locally, so we're just going to see what happens. Do I think I'm going to be selling 100 of these? No. Do I think over the course of the holidays I can sell 100 of them by putting them in stores after the ones that don't sell, I put them in stores? Yes, 100%. I'm sure as many makers know, right when Thanksgiving is around the bend is right when everything starts getting very busy. People come out of the woodwork and they want dining tables, they want all different types of stuff, and you really have to learn what you're saying yes and no to. So when it concerns something like this holiday market, I'm saying yes to it because I think it's fun and because I like making videos about it. But I think there might be a misconception that I'm using these markets as a primary driver for my business overall, and that's just simply not the case. I use these markets to do a lot of product research when it concerns being able to have a product like this. Something that's probably not going to sell all year long, but it's going to sell really well for about 2 months out of the year. So if I know that my designs are selling really well, there's no reason for me not to bring them to an event where people are specifically showing up to buy items for Christmas. So that's what we've got going on right here. So hopefully with these 2 designs that I have and then the custom option, we're going to do pretty well at the market. Now that we have all of our ornaments engraved, what we're going to be doing is taking some of this leather twine, tying it up so that we have hangers for our ornaments. I went ahead and made a 3rd design, and I only made 20 of those just because I felt that 3 designs was better than 2, just to give people a little bit more to look at when they're stopping by the booth. Over 100 ornaments, we've got less than 2 hours of time, so we're just going to call it 2 hours. That was 10 minutes that you just saw me tying all of those things. And it's probably going to be an additional 30 minutes tying all of these things by hand. Obviously, there's different ways that you could use hangers for this, but I am going the route of, individually tying them.
All right, well, the market is over and it was a success. And by success, I mean I got there really early and I started setting up and then realized that I didn't have the canopy for my tent. So then I had to drive home and then I brought it back and then I set up and turns out I had quite the cold, but I did have some awesome friends show up and help me out, and that is just the cheat code to markets. If you're not somebody who enjoys sales like me, I don't enjoy selling things to people, have friends that do. And thankfully, I have some amazing friends that showed up and helped me out, and I cannot thank y'all enough because I attribute a lot of these sales to y'all. I think oftentimes you can get into a bubble. I know I get into my own bubbles all the time where I can put ornaments like this that says Cumming since 1834 into a store and not think about it at all. I don't think about the person buying it. I think that's funny. Somebody's going to buy it, and then people buy them. Sitting in a booth with them out in front of them, you know those situations that you get yourself into sometimes, and then you don't think about it until you're in the situation. You're like, oh, this could be pretty awkward. Thankfully, a lot of people thought it was funny. The people who did not think it was funny just didn't make eye contact with me and kept walking. I noticed a few that were like a little bit like, oh, I don't like that. But no one said anything, which was pretty cool. So the people who did think it was funny, they laughed a whole lot. And honestly, their laughter and like the conversations that we had was even better than them buying it. It was, I don't know, it gave me a whole lot of joy. So we made some sales, which I am so thankful about. So we ended up selling 19 of the Cumming since 1934 or 1834. And then we ended up selling 7 of the Georgia design with just the text font inside of Georgia. And then Cumming Isn't the Same Without You, we sold 13 of those. And then we sold 4 custom ornaments, which is something that I haven't really talked about up until this point. The custom ornaments is something where I have this little form. I have a ornament drawn on there, and then somebody can take a Sharpie and then draw their name. Actually, I'll just show you how it works because it's super simple. The customer comes up and they say, hey, I want to draw a custom ornament for my grandkids. And they say, we love Hamilton 2023. Who doesn't love Hamilton? They write down, we love Hamilton 2023. They put their information right there, and then they give this to me. I put down their order number, I give this to them, and then they can go pick it up at a store at a predefined time and date. So I'm not having to talk with them ever again, because if you know me, I don't like really talking with customers and sales and that kind of stuff. I feel like the amount of time that I spend talking with customers is like 17 times more than the amount of time that I spent making the thing. And it isn't efficient to me personally. So I don't do a lot of customer interaction. So these 2 pieces of paper hopefully knock down as much of that as possible. So the person comes in, they fill that out, and then I use this thing, Shaper Trace. I'm not sponsored by them by any means. They just did their Kickstarter, raised a ton of money because people saw the value in this, and it essentially is a piece of plastic with a QR code on the back of it. You scan that QR code, it opens up an app for you, and then you put this on top of a piece of paper, white and black. The contrast is what makes it work. And then you pull out your phone, scan this. It says, hey, ready to capture. It sees what I'm seeing. Oh, probably should do that. And boom, there you go. It is now scanning everything that it sees inside of there. So I now can save that as an SVG, and then I can send that off to whatever other design software that I use. This is such a cool thing. I was talking with people even last year. If you're one of the people out there who watches my channel and I talk to you personally about it, I was talking with individuals on how to make something like this because I see the immense value in this. Obviously, I like it a whole lot. I don't care if you buy it. I don't make any money if you do or not. But this is something out there that if you're a digital maker or fabricator or something like this, there is a ton of value to it. I have unfortunately found its limits is size at this point because there's a lot of things that I would like to be able to create vectors off of. If you're not understanding what I'm talking about right now, you can take any old object, draw lines around that object, and then turn those lines into vectors at scale. And it uses a bunch of stuff in order to make that happen. I'm sure that Shaper can explain it a whole lot better than I can, but it just simply works. You might have to clean up things a little bit, but even on this, the printer has a lot of printing lines in it, and that vectoring picked up those lines because it saw the difference in the contrast of what it was picking up. All right, let's put all this to the side and get into the numbers. With 43 total sold, we have a grand total of $810 in sales. That is sales overall. And a lot of that came specifically from credit cards, which I was very surprised about. Thankfully, I just got a new phone, and it turns out with the Square app, you can just like tap people's credit cards on the back of it and accept their payment. Maybe I'm just new to all this, and that's old news to y'all, but that was so cool. Made the process so easy. So that was $810 in total worth of sales. Now, if you have been around my market videos in the past, you understand that the market that I do is, I would say, competitively priced for my area. It is $220 for me to be able to show up and be a part of that market just for the day. It is from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, $220. So off of that $810 minus $220, we have $590. $590, and that is still just off of sales. I have had people in the past look at my market videos and just like tear them apart from a business standpoint, And I really want to take a step back and tell y'all that all of this is market research for what I put into stores here locally in town. I do not view these as, my make or break moments for my business by any means. Markets are a ton of fun and they should be viewed as a ton of fun. I know a lot of people make a lot of money off of them, and I think that is very cool. But ever since I was a little kid, I loved lemonade stands, and that is how I view markets, as a lemonade stand. Anybody can go and show up, sell whatever they have, and it's just a ton of fun regardless. So when I view this market in specific, I'm not factoring in my time into it. So I'm mainly just factoring in materials. For $3 a piece off of these 43, that is $129. Some of y'all already know means that I did not meet my $500 profit goal, even with me taking out the labor portion of things. So 590 minus 129, $461. $461. Not valuing my time at all, I walked away making $461. Is that worth it? Yes, 100% to me, because I know now the types of ornaments that are going to be selling and what I should be investing in making more of for the stores around here. I will go ahead and say that I made that amount just off of the last 2 weeks while sharing with stores here locally, putting them into stores. That, to me, is the cheat code, is finding stores locally and then putting stuff in there that people actually want to be able to buy. Obviously, that is going to depend massively on where you live locally and the types of people that live around you and the types of budgets that they have. But for me, that's where I do the majority of my physical sales, is here locally. I will say though that something fun that I wanted to do for this video, for this weekend only, so if you're watching this video right as it posts, this weekend only, if you go onto my website, it'll be linked down below, I will be selling a few of these ornaments, these specific ones that are in this box that didn't sell at this market, before I take them over to the stores to be sold. So if specifically you want one of these ornaments, they will be available on my website just for this weekend, because I'm not dealing with that through the rest of the holidays and being all stressed out. If you click the link and they're not available, then they're gone. So no, I did not meet my goal of making $500 worth of profit off of a single market day. I fell short $39, but I'm still pretty happy with the amount that I made off of it, and I hope that y'all enjoyed this process as well. I want to give a massive shout out to all of my Patreon members. Y'all have just been patiently waiting about what next year is going to hold, and I am so excited about it. I have been working a ton on it, and I think that everybody's going to be pretty happy with what next year is bringing. Still have a lot of work to do on that as well, and I don't know, just excited about the ride. So thank y'all so much for all of y'all's support. It really does mean a ton. If you'd like to support the channel, you can buy digital files at cncalater.com, or you can support me on Patreon, which is a wonderful way to do so. I appreciate all of y'all so much, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.